Hey guys, it's Sean from All Castle Games, and we're going to do a quick review of this Pac Man Battle Royale, which you can play at the Fond du Lac Theater for only 50 cents a game. It's a pretty neat game. It's really made for multiplayer. The single game is really lacking, but when you get a bunch of people playing this, it is extremely fun. It does have sandwall joysticks, so if you're used to playing the old Pac-Man, it's not quite the same feel. They're very responsive, but we'll get into the negatives on that in a little bit. It does come stock with a dual over-under door with the option for a bill head. It is a 12-volt bill acceptor, which is becoming the standard, I guess. It kind of threw me off guard. I usually have 110 volt, but no big deal. And it pretty much consists of, you play as 4 Pac-Man characters, and the goal is to eat the other Pac-Man characters by becoming large. And the first person to kill all the other Pac-Man characters off is the winner. The ghost will also kill you and knock you out of the round. You only get 1 life per round, and usually the game will have settings on how many rounds it can have. Usually the default, I believe, is 5 rounds. So it's a pretty simplistic kind of game, but it is fun. Let's go into the hardware. Give me 1 second. As you can see, here's a quick look at the logic assembly. It's almost looks like an Intel Atom kind of configuration. It's definitely custom. And right here you'll have your I/O board. And everything runs off of 12 volts, and there's one brick-style 12-volt power supply, 2 cooling fans, and over here you'd notice the cables for disconnecting the pole. And up here we have a tiny little custom soundboard, along with more input-output stuff. Most likely probably for driving the lighthouse. I actually don't know. So there's a look at that. For serviceability, it's okay. The game does fit through most doors, more standard doors. You do have the option of taking this top table piece off. And you can do that by removing 4 bolts inside of here. You can see them or not. If there's 4 bolts in there, then this whole top of the table will come right off. If you need to just service the joysticks, this is the kind of the downside of this game, is there's really no latch and hinge system. It's a mere, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws on the side, and then this top piece will lift off, and you can get to the joysticks. You can unplug them and take it and set it on a table. And that comes to the downside of this unit is the sandwich joysticks are good. They're very responsive, but their durability is not very good. I mean, so basically, this one's already cracked, and they're not cheap. So that is kind of one of the downsides of this unit. And getting into the on your old cocktails, it would lift up and there'd be a hinge and a bar and stuff. That's not the case with this. So it is a little more of a pain in the butt to get open, but it's not super bad. They also did do a good job of sealing this glass from spillage. We've had a few things spilled on it already, and it hasn't leaked to the monitor. As for the cabinet build, it's also not the greatest. I did have some issues inside the cabinet. If you can see them, where they didn't finish screwing in the some of the portions of the cabinet up there. You can see, and a lot of it's just stapled and glued. It's not the worst, but it's not the greatest. And also, these leg levers are not the greatest as well. The plastic caps definitely don't look like they're going to hold up. And it also has this chintzy little speaker for the whole game. But for the price, it's not a bad deal. We have a speaker on each side. So Getting the top pull off is relatively painless. There's just 6 of these screws on the back here and this plate to help hold it while you're unscrewing it. So moving from location to location isn't the worst thing in the world. There are no wheels on the unit, but it's very easy to lift and put on a cart. So from that standpoint, moving from location to location, it's not bad. Let's take a quick look at the operator settings that you have. It's your typical Namco switch and select system. So you'll have a test switch and then a select toggle switch, along with the service and enter button. So we can go up here and we got our coin options. So for the purposes of this video, it's going to be kind of hard, so let's go take a look at those. And as you can see, you can set all kinds of various things. The game cost, free play, play type, if it's currencies, dollars, or swipes. Let's get out of this. Exit. There's also a few different game options. You have fast and slow, number of rounds, the timeout speed, and a few different background music settings. I'm not too sure exactly what the difference between the background musics are. I've tried a few of them. I haven't really picked up what it is. We also have ours set non-default. And you have a few little bit of diagnostics here. You have your standard switch test and output test for the lamps. Some communication tests, which may come in useful. You can see a quick look at the switch test. Definitely handy on a game like this with 4 joysticks. Interesting enough, like the 3-player or the 4-player will push up when I'm pushing down on it, which might confuse somebody, but from where you're looking at the screen, this is the way it should be. So, I did think of that. And you can take a look, you can test your coin switches, etc. by counts. And here's a quick look at the output test. You can basically toggle each lamp individually. Your monitor tests, basic stuff, full white, crosshat, graduation pattern. And in the sound test is where you adjust the volume of the game, typical for Namco. You can request some music to test it with. Pretty standard stuff. A little bit of a bookkeeping screen. You get your average play time, your play on ratio, how many times the service button was pressed, total burn time. It has an error log. If you keep going, it breaks it down into round times, etc., etc. So there you go. That was a quick look at the Pac Man Battle Royale 4-player standard edition from Namco. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty good bang for the buck. It's not that expensive. The build quality is good enough, and for the small little issues you have, it's still worth having. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If it helps you, let me know, and thanks for watching.